Let's kind of go back to your call up to this tournament, because I think it was probably a bit of a surprise, right? You only played 4 ODIs beforehand, and I guess there was this talk of, will South Africa go with an extra all-rounder? So how did it come about?
Yeah, it was a surprise. I always knew I was probably like here or there, but probably not in the squad. But I was ready, and I think yes, it happened. It was strange. The evening I was with my fiance and we were chatting, and we were like, the squad's being announced tomorrow, and I'm not sure if I'm in or not. And as I was speaking to Rob called, and like as I answered Rob, I was laughing, and he's like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "We were just speaking about this," and then he told me, and it was a surprise, but I was like, I was ready. I knew. I don't know. I wasn't supposed to be in the squad, like you said.
Yeah.
But I was ready.
So what did he say? We've decided to go with you for extra pace, or just congratulations, or?
Yeah, he just said congratulations. We're going with you. We're going with you. And to be honest, I can't really remember what else, what he said. I just remember feeling a huge sense of like relief, and the nerves immediately kicked in.
And then what did you do that night? Was it during the Australia series?
Yes,
or?
yes. I think the next day was I just went to bed, but the next day I couldn't phone my parents. It was too late.
Oh, shit.
So I had to tell them the next morning. But the next day we had the whole media day at Grey. That was quite overwhelming because I didn't know if I was going to be in the squad or not, and then I was. So, and then I went to a school I went to in primary school to see people I know. So it was all very overwhelming.
Yeah, and just talk about that, because you went to school at Grey, and then you've got these young kids looking up to you, I suppose, and you would have been them maybe, 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago is probably right. Fantastic. Like, I really enjoyed going back there. I mean, I was obviously in Grey primary school, went to Saints in high school. Both schools, I'm really proud to have been there. To see the kids, I know both schools are, especially Grey, it's very much like a sport-driven school. So you see these kids and they're all so like excited to see us, and they don't just look up to us, but they also believe they can be where we are. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, and I believe you were a swimmer at school.
I was primary school. I swam. Stopped quite like just before high school. Probably a little before that, but yeah, it was hard work.
What makes swimming harder than a sport like cricket?
I think the training is like in cricket. It's very much like you can get away with luck, and there's talent, and swimming's also talented. Like there's talent, but it's hard work, out and out. Like you've got to train harder to swim faster. So I remember
Seems
that was
to make sense. Eh?
Yeah, and I mean you're in the water by yourself when you're training, so you can't speak to someone, you can't make a quick joke to your mate. Like it's you in the water, your thoughts. So
Yeah.
It's quite hectic. Yeah.
So is that kind of like what makes you more attracted to team sport? Is that you're able to talk to other people?
I love team sports. I also really appreciate individual sports. So I don't know. I really like the team sport aspect because of what it brings. Because of the relationships you create. So I really enjoy that. But I really admire individual sports, tennis or golf, because those people, what they put in, they get out usually. And I really admire that.
And were you given a very specific task, like we'll use you in short bursts, come on, bowl fast, scare the opposition?
Not particularly either. Like I have a role as that is seen as the enforcer. I just think it's worked out that way, that it looks more that way. I mean, KG and Marco and Lungi can also, if they wanted to, I feel, to an extent, play that role as well. I just think they've really been disciplined in what they've done, and I've had more freedom in such a great bowling attack to come and express myself the way I have.
So what does it mean when they say you're the enforcer? Does it mean exactly what we've just said, or is it just a word we've made up?
No, I think it just means that there's freedom for a guy maybe who does bowl quicker to come in and bowl quick, use aggressive methods. It either works or it doesn't.
And it's worked for you?
It has worked, but it also hasn't in the past. So like I've been on both sides. So I understand what the role brings. I've just been fortunate, and the team has been fortunate that we've had good foundations with Lungi and Marco starting so well that I can come in and there's already pressure, and then I bring pressure, and it's worked. So it's been great. Yeah.
And does the pressure come from pace, or does it come from the fact that you bowl quite a good bouncer? And we've seen some unusual fields, like I think Marco was standing almost like a long stop against, was it Bangladesh or England?
They have. Again, I think it's much simpler than people think it is. Like it's I come in and I bowl quick, and hopefully I get wickets. Yeah.
Is death bowling something you want to do? Because maybe that's the one area South Africa have slipped slightly.
Yeah. I think we're all very excited about death bowling. We've with Eric, who's been great and very clear. We've all been very keen. I think the situation in the World Cup when we bowled it to death mostly has been to lower order batsmen with no fear. So there's been good exercise to practice, but it's also been like we were looking forward for that first test when we're bowling to, let's say, our batters when they're in the death, because they've been very good at the death. So we're excited for that.
And what's the plan? I mean, you don't tell me all the plans, but like you mentioned sort of wide Yorkers. Is pace off one of the plans?
Conditions. So the conditions will either say, you're going Yorkers, you're going cutters, you're going short balls, boundary sizes, square boundaries, short boundaries, like square long boundaries or square short boundaries, straight long boundaries. All those things need to be taken into consideration. As you go into a game, we have wonderful analysts, we have wonderful coaches. They tell us all these things, and then obviously the bowlers have a hunch. So it's just no two games will be the same. The Yorker will always be a good ball, and we all have different sets of slow balls and cutters, and to incorporate that is important.
Yeah. And what's your relationship with Eric like? You've mentioned him, and he's been so successful in India as a bowling coach.
Yeah, I've worked with Eric this is the third team I've worked with him in almost a year.
Oh, that's lucky.
Less than a year, exactly. So I worked with him in January, and then I worked with him in July, and I'm working with him again.
Is this with the SA20?
SA20 and then the Major League, and now here. So we understand each other. We have a great relationship. He's got a incredible cricket brain, which speaks for his record as a coach, and brings a lot of calmness. So I've really enjoyed him. I think everyone has really enjoyed him. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, and especially conditions-wise, because he knows the country.
Exactly, but he's also not going to tell you that he's for sure. Like he's very open to listen, and he wants feedback, and he'll listen to anyone else, because we have a lot of bowlers who've played here a long time. So there's just a really good mix going on, and the guys are listening to each other, and it's just brilliant. It's been fantastic.
Okay, and then we got to ask something, because a lot of people, I don't know if you know this, in India, they want to know if you're related to Gerald Coetzee, which I don't think you are.
No, is that the writer?
That's the writer.
Yeah.
But I did see you reading a book recently.
I did, yeah.
Was it a Gerald Coetzee?
No. I've never read any of those books, so I'll maybe go have a look.
Yeah, go and have a look. What were you reading at the airport?
Funny enough, it's not usually my style, but I was reading Molly and Me by Josh Grogan.
Oh, yeah?
So I watched the movie, and it's always a good laugh. And then I realized that...
So you've done it the other way. Most people read the book first and then watch the movie.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a book.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was based off a book. And then I realized that at the end of the movie that Owen Wilson plays Josh Grogan, and Josh Grogan writes the book. So I thought it's great to actually read the book from the guy who plays in the movie.
Yeah.
Because now he's writing from his perspective. And it's a great laugh.
So you're done with it now?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I'm dreading the end, because we all know what happens in the end. But yes, it's been a great laugh. I've laughed like a... Yeah.
So is that what you do in your downtime? Read some books? It's not like, what's this, PlayStation, computer games or whatever?
I do a bit of everything. So I'll read whatever feeds my imagination. So I enjoy all of it. I do like reading a lot. I do play games.
Okay.
So it's just finding a balance.
And I also believe you want to be a landscape photographer when you're done with cricket.
I would love to, yeah.
What's that about?
It's just, I love the outdoors, and to capture a moment of like supreme beauty is like, I feel like it's a great skill, and then to be able to share it with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been inspired by many other people, also by some movies and stuff. So definitely keen to go into that direction. I mean, if I can work in the mountains, how much better can it get?
And what's your favorite landscape that you've been to and photographed?
Yes, that's hard, eh? I think the most beautiful I've seen was Queenstown in New Zealand, but the Western Cape, from the Southern Cape to the Western Cape, so all the way from George Wilderness all the way up to Cape Town, it's just, I love that area so much. I love Eastern Free State, so like Clarence, Golden Gate. I don't know if people will know that area. It's just, I love mountains, like mountains and water.
So Dharamshala was nice for you?
I love Dharamshala. I was just a bit bleak that we couldn't see more. But it's always been a dream of mine to go to the Himalayas.
Did you go on a trek or anything
We
like
couldn't. There wasn't really enough time. Yeah, the coaches went. They didn't extend the invite.
that? Okay. It's now captured forever.
Because they need to write that down.
It's there. It's there. But you took some pictures. You enjoyed the scenery.
It was beautiful. Like, I remember there's a photo of me standing on the boundary in the game. It was snowing, and I looked up and I was like, yes. This is like
you're not watching the middle, you're watching something
No, they could have hit the ball to me. I probably would have missed it.
That's the trick, right? So at Newlands, you're going to be...
Yo, I love Newlands. It's probably my favourite ground in the world. So, yeah.
And then now that you said favourite ground, let's just talk a little bit before we finish about kind of your inspirations, because I guess in South Africa we have a lot of fast bowlers you can look up to, right? So is it there that you look, or do you look elsewhere?
No, so definitely South Africa. I mean, I grew up watching probably one of the best bowling attacks ever. Having probably just missed one of the best bowling attacks ever, from Allen, then to Dale and Mornay and Vern and those guys. Like, they were...
So you grew up watching Dale and Mornay?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you only grew up quite recently, right?
Sure. So Dale and Mornay were like, yes, they were phenomenal. I loved watching them. And then even like local bowlers, we didn't play for the Proteas that much. Like, I really enjoyed watching them. And then KG came on the scene, Lungi, all these guys have just been... Anna is unbelievable.
Have you been in touch with him?
So, like, yeah, we keep in touch every now and again. Like, we get on fine. Like, we get on really well. He is a jet. Like, there's no one in the world that does what he does.
And I guess, like, with his injury, kind of opened a little bit of a door for someone like yourself. Hey?
Well, we were both initially in the squad, so I was very excited to play alongside him, to learn from him, because he has mastered. I feel like he has mastered the skill of bowling that quick. So yeah, I hope he can come back quickly. Like,
for sure.
He deserves to be here, and he should be here. Like, he is world class. Yeah.
Do you want to get quicker like him, or do you want to get like more accurate, or is it a trade-off?
Yes, it's hard. I've thought about that a lot, and I don't have an answer yet. I do want to be quicker, but I also do want to be more skilled. So at what point do you, I almost want to say, like, sacrifice one skill? So I'm not sure yet. I'll always train to be quicker, but I'll always train to be more skillful. So hopefully there can be a sweet balance in the middle.